How WWE can finish this year strong. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling podcast. As always, let's cheers, talk about some wrestling.
Yeah, I would argue this calendar year for WWE has been one of the best ones that we've seen in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
The storylines, the wrestling. I mean, you look at the sellout, the numbers, the merch, everything is
hot.
Hot. And how do they just kind of keep the momentum? Usually it's kind of like, at this point, you're like, how can WWE pick up the momentum to go to Rumble, to go to WrestleMania? But they've already been hot. So how do they stay hot?
Yeah, they've been real hot. Difference is, normally they do kind of, let off at the end of the year, but they have to go hot into Netflix. So we should get a good couple last months here. It's early November, so we got December and November. We're just going to go one by one and give our best ideas on how they can end this year hot. I'll go first. I get to go first.
That's tragic.
Yeah, I'm taking over.
Why?
Because I wanna.
Wow.
Judgment Day collapse.
Oh.
Judgment Day collapse. I think it should happen. I think it should happen ASAP. We talk about it almost weekly on our Raw reviews. Like, what the hell is going on with those tag titles? Where is Finn Balor? What is going on with any of this right now? And I just feel like the momentum's gone. The momentum of Judgment Day feels completely gone at this point. At this point, it doesn't even feel like Judgment Day is a thing other than Dom and Liv and Raquel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they feel like Judgment Day, and then every once in a while, like, oh, there's JD and Finn and Carlito. They're still here.
Well, yeah, even Carlito more than
Yeah.
Finn and JD, which I would thought I would say
he's
that.
the fixer to that 1 week.
But he hasn't fixed anything.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what their overarching plan is. Obviously, we think that Finn will probably get back involved with Damian, especially now that he's facing Gunther for the title, so he might reinsert him that way. He's also kind of had a little bit of chippiness with Dom as of late. A lot of things can happen there, but I just feel like people have definitely pivoted to the point where we're just having a magnifying glass on Dom and Liv, and the Judgment Day stuff is out. So take this last 2 months, fully collapse the Judgment Day, and kind of reset Finn Balor and JD on another level, and then go into the new year kind of clean with that aspect.
Yeah, I think that needs to be done ASAP as well. It's just, there's not much more to add. There was also that, like, for the long time, like, Finn maybe working with Liv and sort of stuff, but, like, now Dom and Liv are so good on screen that it's like maybe you have Liv turn on Finn. Maybe they kick Finn out of the Judgment Day. Who knows? But Judgment Day's kind of ran its course, I'd say. Even before now, it's kind of run its course. And like you said, those tag titles, we had that tournament. And even before the tournament, it was just like, when are those getting defended? Well, you guys are going to defend them. We're going to have a tournament to decide who faces you. Well, when are they facing them?
I guess when they want.
I guess whenever.
I have no idea. Yeah, it's time for Judgment Day to be done.
Yeah. I didn't have that on my list, surprisingly.
Woo!
But
that's why I go first.
I should have. Well, mine is a big one. Where is Braun Breaker? Is my thing.
Yeah.
My thing is Braun Breaker, as they go into Netflix especially, we need Braun Breaker. And we talked about this idea. And the first thing I wrote down, I sat there for, 2 seconds. And then I said, well, where the hell's Braun Breaker been? He wins the IC title back. And it's like, well, that was that. He finished his story. He's out doing whatever. He's a big-time player. He's obviously been a big-time player already. He's going to be the future. Future's kind of now for him, though. He has kind of already established himself. I want to see more of Braun Breaker again. We were getting him pretty regularly, like weekly. And I was like, yeah, I really like this. And now I feel like we haven't gotten him. And that's that.
I completely agree. Where is Braun Breaker? They did this the first time he won the IC title, too. He just kind of disappeared afterward. They had the rematch with Sammy right after SummerSlam, or at SummerSlam, where he kind of cemented himself as beating Sammy for good. And then he went off air for a bunch of time. And then we came back to the Jey Uso thing, and then Jey Uso ripped the title off him. Now he won it back from Jey Uso, and he's been gone since. That man is your future star. You need to be having him on weekly. He needs to be building up relevant guys and feuds. If you're not going to have Ilya on TV, there's no reason to save it then. Just throw them both on TV and do the feud. But I totally agree. If you want to go into the next year strong, use this next 2 months to build your mid-card guys up and really go into the next year with Braun Breaker being a star, and someone that you can put on the Netflix logo when you tune into Raw every Monday.
Yeah. Well, and I think maybe they were planning to do him and Ilya, but then Ilya obviously got hurt, right? So
has he been hurt?
Yeah, he got hurt when he wrestled Gunther. Remember on the...
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Whatever those live shows were.
Freaking forever ago.
Yeah, forever ago. But, we saw it this past week on Raw. We saw a Chad Gable, Dragon Lee match that, we understood why. Their factions are kind of at odds, right? We get that. But it was just okay, yeah, we're just going to throw Chad Gable out here versus Dragon Lee. It's going to be a banger match. You could do that with Braun Breaker.
With anybody.
With anybody. I mean, yeah, I know Dragon Lee is in a kind of faction feud, but I'd love to see him versus Braun Breaker. There's so many different people in that mid card. Have him do that. You could even do an icy open challenge thing. We always talk about that.
Yeah.
Just something.
I mean, just to piggyback off this, I didn't have where is Braun Breaker, but I did say for the next couple months, focus on your mid card titles, and he's one of them for sure. Obviously, so the IC title has definitely in 2024 been built up to be a dominating thing. IC has respect behind its name now, and now that LA Knight has the US title, that one has some respect around it now too. But when you don't have much pay-per-views left, and Cody's always kind of in the Bloodline stuff, and now you have Gunther who's with Damian Priest and all that, you should really focus your mid-card titles in the middle of your shows and have them carry, and this is a really good time to do that. Head into Netflix with 2 strong champions on both shows, and then for Raw, freaking build that tag team title up as well. Because Jesus, get it off Judgment Day. This isn't supposed to be a Judgment Day hating show, but get them off Judgment Day and build that up as well on the way to Netflix.
So you went with your mid card,
yeah.
So I guess I didn't say mid card specifically. I just said both tag team divisions need help.
Yeah.
Both sides. You have the Raw tag team titles that haven't been defended, and God, I couldn't tell you when. I mean, they won them on that one random Raw. I think they defended them one time since then, and I think nothing since then. You have the SmackDown ones, which there's obviously some backlash there with Motor City coming in and getting those belts right away.
Yeah.
You have the Street Profits that could have wanted, DIY could have wanted. You have all these different things that I feel like Motor City coming in and kind of just almost taking the steam out of them. It's okay, well, let's kind of build those tag team divisions back up, get some prominence in them. You could even do, they did it with New Day and the Bar back in the day. They did a best of 7. You did it with Carmelo and Andrade. You could do a best of 3.
Do it, dude. Machine Guns against Street Profits. Just pencil that in at the start of every show for the next 5 SmackDowns, and I'm going to be watching.
Yeah.
I'll be seated. Yeah. Montez Ford's mad. He's real mad, shoot mad. He's very stressed out about the booking that they've gotten. And to be fair, Machine Guns walked right in and took the titles. They're great, but he's got a point there. Yeah. So I'm 100% with you. Tag team division in wrestling right now, it needs some help.
Yeah. And that used to be kind of at least for SmackDown throughout the year, that was kind of their strong suit. And at points
I think it still is a little bit.
Yeah. I just feel like it's kind of, I don't know, maybe Motor City wanted those belts. It was kind of just well, what about?
And then Bloodline had it before them. Mm-hmm. So it's been and Bloodline took it off of DIY, who had it for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So it's
yeah,
let's get some traditional tag team awesome action in there and pass the belts around a little bit there.
Yeah, a nice solid tag team feud of somebody.
Yeah. I think over the next month and probably starting at Survivor Series, it needs to be Tiffy time. It needs to be Tiffy time. And that doesn't mean necessarily she needs to cash in and win the title, but I think they need to figure out what that championship feud is really going to be and go for it. And even I think Tiffany should walk into the new year with the belt. Whether that be at Survivor Series or whatever, whether she fails to cash in or succeeds in the cash in, start it. I think I speak for most of the people when I say that we kind of have fatigue over her just running out every PLE and even every SmackDown at this point. And the will she won't she thing works when you don't see it every week, but we see it every week. So now it just kind of feels just do it, or at least just give us the Nia Tiff feud. I think it's a perfect time to do it. That feud's been bubbling up for months and months and months and months. Let's just do it. going into the year with that.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do it at Survivor Series. They might do it at Saturday Night Main Event, maybe.
Yeah, true.
Before the new year. Yeah, I agree. We always used to kind of joke back and forth about whoever won the women's Money in the Bank. It was either getting cashed in that night or the next night.
Yeah.
That's how they did it.
Yeah.
Except Carmella, right?
Yep.
And now Tiffany's gotten it, and it's like, okay, well, we don't need to see the same thing every single week. You could even have her come out there with the briefcase. Just don't tease the fact that you're going to cash it in.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, okay.
Don't even talk about. Don't acknowledge it a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Just be the Miss Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
like
because it's tough. So for me, one of the ones that I have, I guess I'll go with this one. It's kind of a generic thing, and then I'll go into 3, I guess, superstar specific ones. So I put strike while the iron is hot. So when I talk about that, I talk about the War Raiders. They're coming back and they're kind of getting built up. I think they will. I think they'll get those tag titles off. But Street Profits, we just talked about them. And one of the things that really is still kind of grinding my gears is Dom Mysterio. Like something like that. You have, and we saw it with Jey Uso, right? Jey was so dragged out for so long before Jey finally got that IC title. And it was like, okay, can you strike while the iron's hot? Same thing with Tiffany here. You're kind of getting that fatigue a little bit. So even if they pull the trigger like a little bit too early on some of these storylines or some of these people getting big wins, I would rather see that than stuff getting dragged out just months and months and months on it.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. That's what we've been talking about basically this whole time. I'm not going to go into Tiffy stuff because we just talked about it, but 100% agree. It's time for her. And then when it comes to Dom, I think that man is over as hell right now. I think people boo him because that's the way to cheer him. And you're in a tough situation with striking while the iron's hot with that one because you did just give the belt back to Braun, which sucks. I wish you could find a way to get him a partner and then he can rip the tag titles off Judgment Day and that furthers that story in some sort of way. But I don't see that happening either. But I completely with you. There's a lot of stuff, got a lot of good stuff heating up in wrestling. And like you say, Triple H kind of plays the long ball with stuff and that can play against him. Yeah, every once in a while. So I agree. Strike.
Yeah, we've talked about it for, months and months on end at this point. Like, he plays the long game. That's great. Sometimes I want to see a little bit of the short game, though, too.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of variety.
Yep, 100%. Big thing that I think needs to happen and will really make this year end on a pop, big Bloodline twist. Big Bloodline twist. Obviously, our pick here is a Sami Zayn heel turn at Survivor Series. Some sort of Sami Zayn wise man figure for Solo. I just think that would be legendary work there. But I think the reunion of the OG Bloodline, while there has been a little drama here and there, has been a little bit too quick for me. And it does feel like they're wrapping up a part of the story that should have felt like more sandpaper and scratch in there in between. And I think that it needs one more twist before they actually get the gang fully back together and on good hands. And I think that something big, a big twist at like Survivor Series or within the next month could really heat things up.
Yeah. And we've seen some stuff kind of teased. And as we're recording this, they're all about to meet at SmackDown on Friday. So maybe we get something like that there. But even then, it still feels like the Jimmy J just, boom, let's all make up. Well, yeah, Roman, I don't really like you. Well, I don't really like you. We're equals. We're not equal. It's like, okay, can we see? Like, the Bloodline stuff used to be so drawn out that people were like, this is lasting too long. And then all of a sudden you press the gas and you're like, okay, whoa. Where is some of this stuff?
Yeah.
So while I just said short game on some of these things, I want the long game on some of the Bloodline stuff. So I put this one, and I guess as I'm reading it, I don't really know. So I put strong Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens feud.
Yeah.
You could say Kevin, or you could say Cody, Randy. I think he's got a feud with Kevin before he goes to Randy. So yeah, maybe just the time frame wise. But I want to see Cody end on a good, strong, solid feud. Even maybe having Cody kind of get, or have Kevin, I guess I should say, get the upper hand on Cody a little bit. We've seen Cody now have the belt since Mania. And right when he got the belt, you were kind of like, oh, who's he going to fight with? Well, then you had the Logan Paul stuff. Then you had the couple AJ Styles stuff that they were just kind of like one-offs. I want to see Cody in a feud for his title. I feel like that's just kind of a given and kind of build that up. I mean, he was, like I said, those two things. And then he went into like the Bloodline stuff back and forth. And it's like, okay, let's give him a standalone great feud to kind of end the year to start off the Netflix stuff.
Yeah, we we started this podcast talking about how hot wrestling is, and it is. They've had a phenomenal year. I would argue 2024 has been one of the greatest years in wrestling history, especially in recent decades. One thing I do think that has been a little bit weaker is Cody Rhodes' championship booking in terms of like, if you were to ask me the question of, well, who's Cody's biggest rivalry been since he's been champion? I would still say Roman Reigns, even though they haven't fought in a one-on-one match with him with the title. Like, it just still feels like it feels like that has the most steam out of any of his opponents.
Yeah, I would say Solo, but like,
oh yeah,
but like
Bloodline.
It's still Bloodline,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I agree with that, and it's time.
Mhm.
Like we keep saying it, and I agree. I think that if you really start the Kevin Owens stuff up at Survivor Series or whenever him and Randy are done, and you carry that into the new year, man, that would be a hot way. I mean, that feud, the Kevin Owens Cody Rhodes feud, is looking like it's going to be one to remember. So that could be something crazy good. But speaking of kind of Kevin Owens and heels in general, I say lean on your heels for the next couple months. Lean on them. Lean on Gunther. I know that he's a tweener. Make him a good old traditional heel champion. Make sure that he stays heel. He's kind of walking the line lately. I want him to kind of be more of a heel. Dom, we talked about it multiple times tonight. Hot as hell. Lean on him. Lean on Liv. I don't care what people say online, how much they hate Liv. That's her job to make you hate her. It's working. She elicits that reaction from everybody. Solo is doing the best work of his entire career. He's finally making himself look like a tribal chief. Lean on that. They're for sure going to do that. And then, of course, if you want to, we can end the year with a good old Randy Orton heel turn and really get things cooking as well. That might impact what we just said about Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes, but that'd be something good to end the year on as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'll even add one more to the list. Chad Gable.
Bronson Reed.
Yeah. Chad Gable's amazing, so why not? You just mentioned Liv, so it's kind of the same lines that I talked about with Cody Rhodes. I don't have a opponent here for this, but my thing is strong Liv feud. Kind of the same thing. We're kind of just waiting now. We're playing the waiting game since her and Raquel take out Rhea. Well, who's the next opponent going to be? Who's the next feud going to be? Even if they are kind of filler feuds, I still want something strong for Liv like to come out of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people, since she had that belt, all she does is run, all she does is this, all she does is that. I want her to look strong, have a meaningful feud. I mean, we know her and Io are probably going at Survivor Series. You could run that back a couple of times. Just have her kind of have a meaningful feud for that belt, actually defend the belt, and then on the other side come out strong, because inevitably we know kind of what's going to happen down the road.
Yeah, you need to get her name separated from Rhea a little bit. Rhea's going to be out for a while. The kind of cloud that has surrounded Liv with the Rhea storyline is that Liv is a champion that just kind of runs around, runs from people. They did a much better job at Crown Jewel booking her. Felt like she did a little bit better in terms of being a capable wrestler in the ring and not being totally scared. Mm-hmm. Io is the perfect competitor to completely solidify that narrative of her being a liable champion, a threat. She can handle stuff herself. Io is not this giant imposing Rhea Ripley. She's phenomenal, don't get me wrong, but Rhea Ripley is another level. And if she were to put on a good program with Io, then people could kind of lose Rhea from their mind a little bit. And then when that comes back, hopefully the steam and the heat can immediately capture again, instead of us just being like, Liv doesn't have Rhea, so why am I watching this? So I couldn't agree more. But that's really all I have for it.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, I do have one little thing.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind a Rock appearance at some point. Final boss. I don't know why he showed up at Bad Blood. Why is nobody talking about that? The Rock showed up at Bad Blood, and we haven't seen anything since. Nobody's even talked about it.
Counted the 3, and you had the little throat slit thing, and that was it.
No one Cody didn't mention it. Roman didn't mention it.
Maybe that's Survivor Series. Maybe that's what we're waiting for.
Yeah, but what's the point?
A reminder. I don't know. In case you forgot about the final.
We forgot about the Rock.
In case you forgot about the Rock and the final boss.
Silly me.
I'm here.
Bills must have been getting real tight.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's time to make an appearance.
Maybe he was just somewhere around. So he was close to Atlanta at the time. Like, just swing by. He's like, okay, yeah.
He was backstage bored, and he was just like, yeah, screw it, I'll go on.
Yeah. Well, and then he cut like a good promo on social media, and
yeah,
it was all. But WWE has not done anything on screen about acknowledging it or
Literally no one said a word.
anything.
Whatever.
Maybe Survivor Series.
Come back, final boss, I guess.
Maybe that's what it is. Mine is going to be, I don't know how I want to describe this one. I wouldn't say like a controversial one, but it's not something, this one's not make or break, maybe a personal thing.
Uh-oh.
I want the Wyatt 6 to be relevant again.
I was thinking about writing something down for Wyatt 6.
Yeah. We talked about when they debuted. We don't want them all the time. We'd like some missing them here or there. But, we're starting to get into the Miz stuff and the Final Testament, but not really the Final Testament, but just the Miz sort of stuff. They built that up for so long. That debut is still one of the best debuts of all time, if not the best, depending on who you ask. I feel like after the American Made stuff with Chad Gable and everything, it's just kind of been forgotten about. I mean,
Yeah.
Joe Gacy and Dexter and Nikki Cross and Rowan, like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So just something, even if it is just like the lights go out and you get like a piano or like a lantern or, something.
They've lost their steam. And we were two that kind of protected them a little bit longer. We're like, oh, they're doing something new, give them time, blah, blah, blah. But like, they need to have the 4 members that aren't Howdy on screen wrestling. Like, I think that they need to be tag teams and be present. And then Howdy can be your once every few whatever guy and the guy that pops up out of the shadows. But like, I don't think we can do this whole slow reintroduction every single time they pick a new target. I don't think we could do this whole slow reintroduction again, man.
Mm.
Like I as people who have a lot of patience for it, even I'm kind of like, okay, where you at? And now you're taking Miz off screen with you. We love the Miz because he's awesome. We need more screen time from them, and I completely agree with you. We really need to start to just have them be a thing on TV.
And you could have them like, I don't know, you could even have Howdy cut a quick 15-second promo to somebody. Like, let's say the New Day are in the ring fighting or something, right? They're arguing, Kofi and Xavier are arguing back and forth, and Howdy pops up on the screen, kind of like how they did on Raw. The little thing pops up, Howdy pops up on the screen, and he cuts something like, oh, well, you guys are bickering, you guys don't value family, da-da-da-da. I'll show you 2 people that value family. Boom, you have Gacy and Loomis go out there. And that's that. Like, you could literally just do something quick, easy like that. It doesn't need to be super, super long, dragged out, like, targets and feuds and things like that. Like, the other 4, I think, like you said, you can do the long stuff because it's like a final boss in a video game or something, right? Like, oh, well, I got to go through all these people to get to the final guy, like, or the head guy. Like, that makes sense. But all the other 4, like, it's just like, why would I care?
Yeah, I'm starting to feel that exact same way, which is unfortunate. Come on, capitalize on Wyatt 6. Don't mess that up. It's good stuff.
Well,
they've
only had the one match.
Yeah,
they've only had what was it, the street fight?
Street fight.
That was it.
It was good, but it wasn't like something. It was on a Raw,
Yeah, I almost put them. I didn't put them. I should say almost on Survivor Series. Like, it wouldn't make any sense, but like the way they could have booked it, they could have done like a Final Testament with Scarlett versus Wyatt 6 War Games match or something.
That'd be sick.
Like, you could do. I'm not advocating for that at all. I think what we came up with was a lot better, but having them be on a PLE, I feel like is something we kind of need now.
Yeah, 100%. They honestly, they should just make a splash at Survivor Series or something random and just like, even if it's a 5-minute segment, or like they're doing a backstage segment between somebody again, and they just show up and make a scene, something big, because you're right, they've lost a lot of steam, and we need them looking good going into 2025. But anyway, those are all of our reasons, lots of them. Thanks for listening to us ramble for how WWE can end this last 2 months strong going into 2025. As we said multiple times, 2024 has been a year to remember, and 2023 was a year to remember as well. So we're looking so good in wrestling right now. Let's head into the Netflix era looking damn good.
Yeah, don't get our how to improve things or end strong. It's been a great year.
Yeah.
I don't want people to be like, oh, you guys are so negative. Da, 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 da. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts at YouTube, Apple, Spotify, etc. If you want to come talk to us, we have a Discord. It's in our link tree in our bio. It's got all of our socials. Go ahead and comment, like, subscribe on all of those. We love talking to you guys. But anyway, I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.